Whew. In this video, number 8 Epicworld, I am going over the story of how I manifested tickets to VeeCon 2024, the event that Gary Vaynerchuk runs, and I ended up in jail in Salt Lake City. Let's get right into it. For everyone new here, the way I like to run this channel is I like to record as quick as possible. My goal with this channel is to get the stories out with as much detail verbally and memorably that I remember, and to be able to show you, just like a live stream, what happened. And with that being said, I appreciate you being here. My name is Eric Paul Alien Cherkov. So how did I manifest these tickets that I just kind of spoiler alerted to you? I guess you didn't see it. Now you can see it. This is the Twitter conversation from back when I was told that the tickets came to me. Congratulations, you're the lucky winner. Giveaway winner. Claim your prize. DM us your name and email so we can send the VeeCon tickets your way. We'd love to see you enjoying your win. Snap a pic, share it on social, and tag us VaynerX and VeeCon for a chance to be featured. Thanks for participating. Can't wait to hear from you. Best VaynerX social team. Man, this takes me back. I haven't really even looked at this since the time. I was really big on manifesting things and believing things into fruition at the time. August 9th, 2024. I was in the most dangerous time of my life as well. Something that I'm now well aware of is that I was out of control with substance use, drugs, and alcohol, nicotine, just a whole bunch of things. And the reason I want to tell this story is to encourage people to stay away from the things that I was doing, or to analyze your own decisions, and to be smart as entrepreneurs, and to move forward with strength and courage. Okay, with this being said, let me see if I've got this video that I think it was Lewis House from the podcast that he runs. It was really good. It was a clip from VeeCon 2024 where he's discussing men being able to truly live with purpose and to be courageous in identifying that they're living life and taking on responsibility for their inner child to feel healed and whole. Do I see it? I must have shut it down. So what happened to me with VeeCon? Well, this tweet came through. Shout out to all my friends, everybody who saw there. Hey, you can send emails to these emails in the future. If these are a point of interest, then they won't be open. I was getting on the bus in Calgary, Alberta at the time that I received this tweet. And I was living in this mindset of delusional faith, which became dangerous to me. More of that is talked about on this channel. So you're probably asking, and the reason you clicked on this video is, how the heck did you land in prison? The quick answer to that is, I was out of control with substances and substance mixing. The morning of getting on the bus when I received this message, I had already done a line of cocaine. I was experimenting with coke and figured that there was nothing wrong going on with just a little bit of dabbling here and there. And I was already on the way to the airport before I even had this message in my inbox. So with that put into perspective, I already had the plane tickets bought to go to Los Angeles for VeeCon, believing, and in my delusional way of thinking, knowing that it would turn out the way that I believe it will turn out. And truly, it was unfolding the way it would. I mean, look at this. I've got the evidence of having these tickets drop in our inbox. But where I was going drastically wrong was thinking that there would not be something that could bite me from my experimentation with different substances. So I'm high on coke going to the airport, and I also had a use for modafinil at the time. Modafinil is a nootropic substance that is prescribed for people with narcolepsy, shift workers, many entrepreneurs, software developers, even the military use modafinil. I was using modafinil at the time too. So modafinil is a stimulant. And that morning, maybe about an hour after I had dosed the cocaine, I decided that I would take half a dose of armodafinil, which is a longer acting version of modafinil. I was not thinking. Truly not thinking. And part of my thinking, was hooked in this perspective of if I can really get the feeling of knowing and having a position of like seeing the end result that I desire already happening before it even manifests or comes to be in my life. If I can truly feel that and live in that state of delusion, then things will naturally fall in place. I started seeing results of this everywhere. And part of the reason why I lost control with all of these different substances that I had use for in my life is I figured if I can hack the feeling, if I can get into a space of unnaturally getting to the feeling state, then the thing that I am wanting to have outcome will have to manifest. This thinking kind of spurred from observing certain influential figures like Triple X Tenacious, Juice WRLD. Those are the first two that come to mind. I mean, anybody that knows them, they were abusing a lot of substances, but they'd also manifested this crazy, unbelievable life. And my thesis was seeing if my experimentation would start to result in some of those things in my life. I got out of control with it. So I took modafinil by the time I got to the airport. I'll tell the story linearly as it happened here. While I was waiting in the line to get on the flight, things didn't really seem bizarre or wonky or wild. But by the time I got on the flight and I was sitting beside this woman who lives in Salt Lake City, I had a transfer in Salt Lake City. Wild story behind the flight that I'll tell in a different video. I was supposed to catch another flight in Salt Lake City, but with these chemicals in my body and with the way that the brain works in overstimulation, which is what I ended up beginning to experience, my entire being, my body, my brain, my thinking started perceiving my reality, like point of view, as though everything I am experiencing is a video game. Man, like, to try to explain this in the most accurate detail as I can for you to understand what started happening to me. It was as though time did begin to slow down in a sense, but only like a microscopic slowdown. You're kind of like if you have cannabis in your system, that's not a way to be able to relate it. This kind of slowdown was like if I had a rubber band in my hand or this pencil, right? If I was able to stretch this pencil ever so slightly so that it was a little bit longer, that's the way that perception of time was affected. And every single sensation that was happening around me began to pop out, not psychedelically the way that psychedelic experiences do, but more so like in a way of my mind interpreting everything around me as though I am in a video game, like the movie Ready Player One. So when I got to the Salt Lake City airport, as I'm walking through, I end up missing my flight, which I was supposed to get on. It was only a 30-minute layover, but I was in an overstimulation event, and I began taking the signal and audio euphoria of everything around me as though it's like all intended towards me. And from all of that input, what I was hearing, and then the eye contact I would make with people, and the just everything going on, it was almost like life had transformed into a living movie all of a sudden. And then I end up going under the airport because I wanted to go outside, hit my vape, because it was almost as though there was a signal that I was getting from something meant to, like somebody had said something sensory wise, and then I was like, my mind interpreted as go outside. That's where you're meant to pick up the next piece of this rabbit trail of events that is meant to happen in this video game that you're playing out. And then as I was down there, my brain started having what I understand now as overstimulation from the cocaine that had mixed with armodafinil. Certain ways and thresholds of my brain thinking went away. And as I was moving through the underground parking garage, these conclusions that my mind began coming to in overstimulation, which are not rational now, and it is what it is. The conclusions that my mind came to didn't make sense, but they did in that overstimulated event. So I ended up trying to run on a car and jump off of this car, not even thinking, like, bro, it's so hard to describe and even voice this, but I know I have to. Like, it's hard to describe how that would even make sense. We're in a sober, conscious state of mind right now, right? So to be able to reiterate what happened here is bizarre, revisiting it for myself. I end up trying to run on this car because my mind had a quick thinking moment of wondering and believing, hey, could I drop emotional baggage, and possibly because of that physical baggage, and become lighter at a quantum matter level, and then possibly because of that I can float on the other side of running on a car. And in this moment, like the overstimulation of the mind was like, boom, thought action. You know, there was no threshold capacity for logical thinking to go, well, hold on a minute, like consider this. None of that, you know, like Jordan Peterson straight out the window. No Jordan Peterson at all. And then so I ran on this car, jumped off it, did not float. And there were parking lot attendants of the airport yelling like, dude, what are you doing? Stop it. We got to call the cops if you don't calm down. My mind was lost. I quite literally, figuratively, completely lost my mind and control of my mind. And so then the police showed up, and I was in like, one thing that I was shown about myself is that when pushed to subconscious actions or habits, I'm not a violent person. Like the cops were grabbing me, putting my arms behind my back, and some part of me, you know, that thinking, maybe the ego part of our mind, it was going, oh, should you fight back? You know, like if this is a game, would my character fight back? And the overall answer was no. Like, I'm not going to fight back. I'll go with them, see where this part of this video game goes. Because I'm in a state of point of view, life is a video game, you know, like Ready Player One. The cops take me into the firefighter station. And then they find out that I had cocaine that morning. I also had modafinil. They say, we got to get him to the hospital. do some blood work on him. And so they took me to the hospital and put me in on a hospital bed, and I don't know why this was happening. It could be because I was focused on growing my own awareness and understanding meditation at a level. So what happened in the hospital as I was sitting there, I kept telling them, I got to meditate. And I was compelled to do Kundalini breathwork that Joe Dispenza teaches. And at the same time, they also injected Ativan into my system to calm me down. And for what seems like maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half, I was able to control and contain my breathing and get to a slower place of peace. Along with the Ativan coming into effect my system, I started feeling peace holistically. But yeah, what a trip, man. Just reflecting on it. After I calmed down in the hospital, there was a man who came in probably around 2 a.m. and he gave me a shirt because in the hustle and bustle of taking off of being in the airport and experiencing this overstimulation event, I had ripped off my sweater because I'd gone through a car wash part of it. Like, man, I might make just a series of videos extrapolating this experience because it was the most life-changing experience that happened to me. And to conclude how the heck I ended up in jail after that, you can probably put two and two together and go, oh, he stepped on a car, ran on a car, damaged property. That is what happened. I was released from the hospital in the middle of the night and then wandered around Salt Lake City overnight because I didn't have a place to go. I didn't have a hotel or anything. And then the next day I showed up at the airport, rebooked my flight thinking, man, this is great. It's like I missed the beginning bit of VeeCon, but I got the tickets and I can go meet my roommate at the time, Chris, in Los Angeles, and we'll be able to go to VeeCon. So I got a flight for evening, and then in the line while I go up to the flight attendant or the booking desk to get my seat, and as the attendant is helping me sort through it, these cops come around the corner. Are you Eric Cherkoff? I say, yeah. And the cop says, we've got to put you under arrest. You're being charged for damage under $5,000 of property. And at this time, due to lack of sleep, due to the overstimulation event, and due to my delusional mindset that had put me in this place, put me in this situation in the first place, my whole brain was operating in a state of mania without me being aware of that. All right? So I thought, like, man, this is just part of the game. This is just part of what happens. So I kind of laughed at the police officer and said, you know, should I smile for this part where you put cuffs on me, or should I don't know, should I not feel like giddy and stuff? He was like, I don't know. Let's take you. Unfortunately, we got to cuff you and take you. Do you have any belongings? I didn't. And then we got in the cruiser, showed up at the jail. Now, the thing that I'll talk about in another video is how when I got to jail, I was waiting in the pool there. There were some psychic experiences that I really can't describe up to this day, other than being able to hear information from a different dimension. It's probably the drugs, but I had been clean in my system at that point for over 24 hours. So I ended up in jail for 5 days. Missed VeeCon completely. But I came out with a completely different outlook. I realized to myself, like, holy smokes, I've been okay with experimenting with substances and drugs, and I've kind of proven to myself that yes, thinking things into existence works. But I've also proved to myself, like, wait a minute. I proved to myself that achieving things with a framework that is not healthy, that's not repeatable, it doesn't work for longevity. It just doesn't. And if anything, beginning to tell this video about me winning these awesome tickets and then not even getting to go to VeeCon because my lifestyle and my habits were damaging to me, damaging to my family, damaging to my potential of what I could do and who I can be, right? The output that I can really have. What I realized that I needed a shift of mindset, and that shift has been a shift in my habits and a shift in getting sober and really becoming aware of mental health and support of those around me. If I can stress anything, be aware of what you're putting in your body, the substances, the food, the thoughts, those people that are around you which inspire you or which bring you down. Be aware of the things that they're saying and how you absorb what they're saying, the way that you interpret it. Because something like this could happen to you, but it could happen at the completely, it could happen exactly like it did for me, where it becomes a shattering experience that ultimately changes your life for the better, and that's what's meant to happen. But what I would hope most for everybody is that you get to win the tickets that you've manifested and your habits are in place so that you can live the experience and remember it. You can have all of the fun memories instead of the crazy stories of ending up in jail. I'm going, wait a minute, I was manifesting, but I also had a very, very weak longevity plan. That's the story for today. Hey, I appreciate you listening. And again, my framework for this channel is to get the stories out. I know that I could be editing these videos and trying to optimize it for your viewership and all the things that everybody normally does. I do that in different videos, but not on this channel. This channel is raw and unfiltered. This is Epicworld, the creator. So I appreciate you listening to the story on VeeCon 2024. I'm not sure if I'm going to go this year. 2026 could feel like the year that I get to experience it again. We'll see everybody there. The V fam. I do trust as well that all of you enjoyed VeeCon. I would love to hear about it and to connect with you. So with that being said, we're going to wrap this video up right here. I appreciate you watching and for being a part of this journey. Focus on you in healthy ways and be honest with yourself. All right. Peace out.